All right, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. This is Marguerite Crespillo, and super happy to have you here today. I woke up feeling good, and so I'm really excited to pull out all the stops for you today and give you some really good stuff. So keep in mind a couple things. Let me get us situated here. Little housekeeping, super important. Take the time and please shut off your cell phone. Dedicate 1 hour to your learning, and if you have a question during the presentation, just take a moment and type your question into the chat bar below. So I know that everyone seems to think that we have tons of emergencies and you all try to multitask, but here's the reality. Multitasking is a myth. It's impossible to be doing two things at one time, although we like to all brag that we do that. So take this 1 hour and dedicate it to your learning. Really important stuff. All right, so we're going to jump right in because we got lots of good stuff today. So we're going to talk today about how to define your niche market and how to get into the minds of your ideal clients, and in the perfect scenario, how to locate your ideal clients. Doesn't that all sound awesome? So we're going to talk about getting rich in your niche. Now, first of all, are you clear on who you really want to work with? Or are you one of those jacks of all trades? You know, we've all seen that sign that says, you know, to complete 80% of half of the list of some of the jobs that need repair. You've seen where people are like, they sell real estate, they do loans, they sell homeowners insurance, they'll, you know, wash your car, and they'll deliver food to your house. They try to do a little bit of everything. And the reality, truthfully, is that they don't do anything well, right? They're a jack of all trades, master of none. I see it all the time. It's kind of crazy. So are you also a specialist? How many of you guys have seen this ad where this ad covers, they do everything, right? They deal with first-time home buyers. They help luxury home buyers. They, you know, deal with investor properties, gated communities, home loans, country property landscaping. They're trying to do a little bit of everything. It's kind of crazy. And how they do that, I really genuinely have no idea. But you see these ads, and what happens with these is that it overwhelms your mind a bit. You don't really realize that you can't try to pay attention to all of these things. It's like near impossible. Would you not agree? So, oh, my little slides aren't moving. Here we go. So here's the real deal. The problem is our brains really just don't understand that. Think of your brain like a filing cabinet. If you walk up to this big filing cabinet, and maybe some of you youngins don't even know what a file cabinet is anymore, but in the old days, we used to have these big file cabinets full of all of our files. And if you walk up to that file cabinet and you're looking for something specific, it's super easy to find, right? For the most part, you just kind of scroll through the file cabinet and you find it. But if somebody says to you, I don't know what I want all of these things, and you walk up to that filing cabinet and you have no idea what you're looking for, you're going to stand there for hours trying to figure out how the heck are you going to find it. You're trying to find something that is too generic. So for example, many agents will go out there and they say, hey, if you know anybody who's thinking about buying or selling a home, refer them to me. Well, that's like walking up to that filing cabinet. Your brain just goes on meltdown. It can't process that information. It doesn't know who to look for. It's looking everywhere, and it's not really clear on what it is you want. It's like, oh, well, somebody to buy or sell a home. I don't know. So think of it like this way. If you are going to have surgery by a doctor, who do you want operating on you? Well, let's think about this a little bit. We can get a general doctor who basically takes everyone, knows a little about a lot, doesn't know much about any one thing, gets overwhelmed trying to do it all, is very chaotic and scattered and always searching for answers. Or we can get a specialist, and that specialist has very specific clientele. They're very knowledgeable about what it is that they're doing. They have a ton of experience in that specific area. And honestly, their schedule is very clear. They only work at certain times. They know exactly what they're working on and what they're doing. And if you follow someone around like that, they're typically someone who's very organized and has the answers at their fingertips. Like, think about somebody who specializes, for example, in working with condos only. They know all of the condominium complexes in your community. They know how much the HOAs are for each one. They know which ones have litigation, which ones don't. They know the floor plans of those. Another great area are Del Webb communities. It seems that many Del Webb communities, many of the Del Webb communities, they all have specific floor plans for each house, right? And so if you talk to an agent who specializes in that area, they know exactly which house is which floor plan. You say, well, what floor plan is the house that's 1,197 square feet? And they go, oh, that's the Monterey model or whatever that is. But they have very specific information and they know exactly what's going on in that area. So let's define who you really want to work with, right? Like what type of person and who are the people that you want to work with? Now, what I don't want you to get caught up on, because I know you're already saying this, is, well, I'll sell a house to anybody. And what I want you to understand is that there's a true difference here. Of course, you'll sell a home to anybody, but when it comes to marketing, when it comes to figuring out ideally what you want to target your ads with, they need to be really specific, okay? So who do you really want to work with? Let's create a little avatar or a little person, a little imaginary person in your mind that would be your ideal client. And let me ask you this, are they male or female or either? You're probably saying, well, again, I don't care who I sell a house to. But the reality is that many times we attract who we are. So what age range are they? For example, I know that when my kids were young, the majority of people that I was selling homes to were people that had young children similar to my age. Well, now that my children are grown, it's crazy, but this type of people that I typically find myself working with are empty nesters. And so how much money does that person make, right? What target price range are you really working with? What kind of job do they have? Are they an employed person or are they entrepreneurs? Are they married or single? Or are they, what are they called? The dual income, no kids? Are they parents or grandparents? For us right now, we've got young grandchildren. So I find myself, again, working more with people who are similar to myself. So what are their commonalities? I mean, what kind of music do they like? Do they share common spiritual views? Are they fast action takers? Do they have a sense of humor? Those are my favorite. What kind of food do they like? What kind of activities do they participate in? And do they really value your time and appreciate who you are and what you do? I know that many of you are thinking, well, it's too specific. But I'll tell you, the more you can dig into this and the more clear you can get on what type of clients you want to work with and who you want to work with, the easier and smoother your business becomes. So how can you help them, right? So you take this avatar and maybe you've come up with a guy named Bob, and Bob is married to Sally and they're in their 40s. Bob is an insurance salesman and they have teenage kids, and Sally works part-time and the rest of the time she's dealing with their teenagers. And they probably make $75,000, $80,000 a year. And one of their biggest fears is when their kids move, what are they going to do? So think about this. Like, what are some of the challenges that your avatar is dealing with? You know, something that I learned long ago is that if you can take yourself and put yourself into someone else's shoes, like put yourself, like dive in, be completely them. What do they think about, right? What's their biggest fears? What kind of problems do they have and urgencies that you could solve? What are some of their deepest desires, aspirations that you could help them with? Like I was talking yesterday to a client and he's like, you know, our kids just moved out and we've got this huge house and we're emotionally connected to it, but you know, we can't take care of this house anymore. And frankly, we'd love to take the money out of it and get something smaller and go travel. But their big concern is, A, what are they going to do with that house and how are their kids going to feel about it? And what are some of the concerns? What kind of repairs are they going to have to do? You know, are they going to have huge tax consequences? So think about all these things that are bothering your client or what their real issues are. If you could help a family like these people that I spoke to yesterday get their home sold, limit their tax liability, possibly get into a smaller home where they could go travel the world, which is what they really want to do, how exciting is that? I mean, what a great job we have that we get to be able to help people with their dreams in that way. So what specific results do they want that they're just not getting? Like, what do they really worry about? And what would they love to see happen for them to be able to accomplish their dreams? That's really what we're here to do, isn't it? So how do you get inside their head? I mean, really go deep and dark. And I know you're thinking this is way too much information, but if you sit down and really take the time and figure out who this is, I'm here to tell you the marketing becomes easy. It's like you don't even have to think about it. So what are some of the issues that they deal with? Like, what do they secretly fear may be true about their situation, right? And what do they worry about? Like, what keeps them up at night? What wakes them up at 2 in the morning and all of a sudden they can't get back to sleep? And what do they not look at because it just triggers too much fear? You know, like I know for me, selling my home is just too much because I'm emotionally attached. We've lived in our home for 21 years and my children have been raised here. My grandparents lived here. One of the fears I heard from my client yesterday was they live on country property and several of their animals have been buried on the property. And they're like, what are we going to do with our animals? We can't dig them up. And, you know, I know that sounds a little morbid, but anyway, the bottom line is those are the kind of things that really bother people. You know, what's that worst case scenario that we were just talking about? And what do they fear that others would react if they found out about their situation? Like if all of a sudden they went to their kids and said, we're selling the house, you know, what are those kids going to do? How do they feel about it? Many times it's not nearly as bad as you think it is, but it's the things that keep your client up at night. What are those things? Now, another thing is to go as high as the sky. Like, what do they dream about, right? What do they secretly wish was true about their situation? Like if they could just snap their fingers or wave a magic wand and they could change things the way that they would want them to, what does that really look like? And what do they really think is true about their situation? And even better, what's the OMG, I can't believe that exists, dream solution that you'd pay almost anything for? What is that? And if it could happen perfectly, how would that story go? Well, how would others respond if you could get this situation fixed in an ideal way? And what would you be able to accomplish in your life if you could achieve your fantasy situation? Like if all of that came true, like one of my favorite questions to ask real estate agents or people in sales in general is if money were no object, what would you do? If you could go do anything in the world, what would you do? And it's interesting because many people say, well, they actually love what they do, so they wouldn't really change a whole lot. But it's an interesting question because it really gets you to start dreaming for a moment, start thinking about what would the options be in your life. And then it comes down to, well, what's keeping you there? What's keeping you from actually accomplishing those goals? Many times it's all the questions we just asked. It's all just simply fear-based. So now when you're thinking about this avatar and you're thinking about this person that you've created, I'm just wondering if this sounds like anyone that you know. I tell you, like I said earlier, what happens many times is that you seem to attract the people that are most like you. They're people that have your similar sense of humor, might be a similar age, similar lifestyle. You know, there's a great saying that says, if you look at the 5 people that surround you, the people that you spend the most time with, your finances usually are very similar to theirs. And a lot of things that are happening in your life are very similar to those 5 people that you hang around. Again, they have similar styles. They probably eat the same types of foods. They might do the same types of activities. Maybe they like to do the same sports or, you know, have the same hobbies as you. It's really fascinating how we have a tendency to really attract people that are just like us. So let's ask 5 vital questions. First of all, are you crazy passionate about what you do? Like, do you really, really love real estate? And does your ideal customer have strong emotional needs or urgent problems? Like, it seems sometimes we end up attracting those type of clients who, oh, they're not going to buy for a year or so, or a year or two. Well, wouldn't it be great if we could attract people that are really ready to buy now? They're motivated to find a solution and they're more than willing to pay for it. Are they 6-star clients? These are my favorite. People that are ready, willing, and able, that know me, like me, and trust me. Personally, those are really the only people that I want to work with. And how can I get in front of them to show them how I can help them? You know, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and we're in an industry that is just extraordinary. We have so many opportunities to help people, and we're such a blessing. They're such a blessing to us, and we're such a blessing to them. Like, I am sure that everyone thinks that they are a great real estate agent. And if you are such a fantastic real estate agent, shouldn't you be out there giving away your gift? Shouldn't you be helping more and more people to be able to accomplish their goals? Like, do you really want your family or friends or someone that you know to use another agent where they're not going to have someone as committed as you, who's as concerned about them as you are? Then what's keeping you from going out there and making sure that you are helping as many people as possible? Look, we all know there's good and bad agents in this industry, and I'm sure that you are one of the good ones. And because of that, the world needs your special gift. They need you to get out there and help those people and make sure that they're not being, messed over by another agent out there who might have some unscrupulous antics, right? So here's what you really want to do. You want to pick a target. Like, what is your ideal target? Again, as I said earlier, one of the concerns I always hear is, well, Marguerite, if I only target first-time home buyers, what happens if someone wants to buy a luxury home? Well, we can all hope that that happens, but the reality is again, you can help anybody buy or sell a home. But when you're marketing to specific targets. So what does that really mean to you? Well, let me give you some examples. As you can see, these are some Facebook pages that I've created. And what you'll see is that I've targeted very different people. The one on the left-hand side you'll see is country property and estates. I'm focusing solely on country property and estates. But guess what? I've also created a page, Lincoln, California homes for sale. Oh, wait a minute, buys for a hot market. So the reality is that with any of these, you can use your marketing to target very specific people. And this is one of my favorites, done by Ray Fuentes, who listened to my training and followed through, and he created homes with pools. Well, when you think about this, if somebody is getting ready to go out and buy something, they're looking for something specific. Well, what do you think they're going to do? Are they going to go look for Marguerite Crispillo and find me? Or are they going to be looking for homes with pools? Like, this was brilliant. I was so impressed when Ray did this. I thought, well, how cool is that? So let me give you a success story. I had set up my country property and estates page, and literally within 1 week, I get a call from an agent about an hour away saying, hey, she saw that I was a country property specialist and she had a client to refer. No joke. She literally saw, this is what I specialize in. I was working in the area that she had a client, and she said, that buyer, I'm telling you what, she ended up referring that client to me. That buyer purchased a home, and it ended up as a $16,000 commission within the first week. And what's so awesome about Facebook pages is they're free. Free. One of my favorite words. So if you're not doing Facebook advertising, this is one of the best ways to be specific about your marketing. I mean, literally create a page that is about a target that you really want to focus on. It might be a specific subdivision. It might be a specific type of home. Maybe it's, again, condos or investor properties. But think about what's really going to attract someone to look at your page and what's going to get them to contact you. So look at this again. Here's all different options for you. You can attract first-time home buyers, homes on golf courses. I love that one. Investor property, senior citizens, lakefront homes, targeting, again, a very specific neighborhood. So, and here's another big question. So, Marguerite, where are you getting all the listings? Well, and maybe you don't have any listings right now. Well, here's the cool thing. What I've done is I've literally done a search in a specific area that I wanted to market in, and I emailed all the agents that had listings in that area. And I asked them, hey, do you mind if I advertise your listing on my Facebook page as long as I give you credit? And so you'll see on here that I have the first listing there, and it says listing courtesy of Kate Tustin with Capital Crown Real Estate. So I always give them credit in the comments. Excuse me. But out of all the agents that I email, I'm here to tell you, at least 50 to 60% are more than willing to allow me to advertise their listings. Now, some don't, some have issues with it, but the bottom line is 90% of the homes that are on my country property and estates page are not even my listings. I've simply gone out there, co-opt with agents, asked them if I could market their properties. They're fine with it because they still get paid, right, if I bring the buyer. And then I'm able to advertise those listings on my page. It's really awesome. So let's dig in a little bit more about getting specific. Now, I'm here to tell you, I was driving down the road the other day and I saw this car, this Saturn here. And if you look at it, it says Fix My Q, barbecue repair service. Now, how much more specific can you get about that? I was cracking up. I'm like, that guy is doing extraordinary marketing. I had to have his phone number because guess what? We have a barbecue that needs to be repaired. So this is the guy that I'm going to call. Another thing is we put up an outdoor pallet swing in our backyard, and I needed to find vinyl bed covers that I could cover my swing with. Guess what? Typed into Google, waterproof bedding is what I needed, outdoor waterproof bedding, and this site comes up. So again, I didn't just go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I mean, although I'm sure they probably carry it, but I was looking for something very specific. So many times, keep in mind, when home buyers and home sellers are out there, they are looking for a specific area, a specific community, an agent who specializes in a specific, zone. And I know you guys have all seen that agent who puts area specialist on their sign, and you say, that's the only house I've ever sold in that area. Well, guess what? I can't even tell you how many people are attracted to the fact that something says area specialist. Whether they verify or know if that agent is a specialist or not, 9 times out of 10, I'm here to tell you that they probably don't. And whether this guy who fixes barbecues is the best barbecue repair expert around, I don't know. But his marketing will at a minimum get me to call that guy next time I need to have my barbecue repaired. Because I wouldn't even know who to call. I'd think, oh, well, appliance repair, but I never even thought about calling a barbecue doctor. It's fantastic marketing. So look at this. Now, which one would you pick? If you were a home buyer, which advertising would be most effective for you? Well, on the left-hand side, you can see that somebody could buy a house with no money down. Oh my goodness, is that even possible? Or on the right-hand side, look what you get to see. All these things. And you're thinking, well, I don't even know what area that agent works or what they do. I'm telling you, I've tested both of these ads over and over and over again. And the one yellow on the left works all day long. In fact, just a couple weeks ago, Susan, one of my buyer's agents, was working a home show in the Lodi area. She's working the farmer's market. And the first week, she didn't really get a ton of leads, didn't get much information, and we had an ad similar to the one on the right that she was using. Well, the following week, I said, oh, wait, let's try this other one. So the following week, we put that ad out, those flyers out in her booth at the farmer's market, and she got 6 leads that day compared to the previous week where she got none. So I'm here to tell you, we've tested this. It works. We tested everything that we do personally on my team first before we share it with you. And this is really good stuff. So let's talk about ways to handpick your ideal clients using Facebook. Now, this is just one of many ways that we can market, but this one really works. The cool thing about Facebook advertising is you can really dive in and target who specifically you want to target as your ideal client when you run your ads. So, for example, you can filter down into what state, city, or zip code you want to target. Let's say you just want to target Roseville 95661. You can actually find people that only live in that area. And it's really cool. You can select the age range of your ideal clients, right? So you can go through and figure out who is your ideal client. Well, my guess is you're probably not getting a whole lot of 18-year-olds buying a home, and maybe not many 65-plus-year-olds. But I would be willing to bet between the ages of around 30 to 40 is your ideal targeted client. But you're going to want to go back to that avatar that you created, and what does that targeted client really look like? Are they male or female? What languages do they speak? I'm here to tell you, if you speak another language other than English, you are in demand. So if you're speaking any kind of other language, look for people that speak your language. They need people to help them with their real estate needs that speak their own language. I just always think it's better to have someone speak your language and help you through that process. There's even more demographics. So you can even go to their education level. Maybe you only want people that have college degrees, or people like me that have a PhD, public high school diploma, right? You can go through and determine what kind of demographics do you really want in this person? What kind of work do they do? What if you were to target a specific organization or state employees that work at a specific department, and you wanted to do some training classes with them and some home buyer workshops? Wouldn't that be awesome? What kind of income level are they at? If you're looking for luxury home clients, obviously you're going to want to go with somebody who has a higher net worth or higher income. This one I love right here. Do they have a home? What's their home ownership? What's their household composition? I mean, you can even dive in deeper, and you can find people that are first-time home buyers based on what kind of their behaviors are on Facebook. Are they currently homeowners? Are they currently renting? What kind of interests do they have? Let's see, what kind of business? What kind of behaviors do they have? Do they do a lot of charitable donations? What's their job role? Look at this, how long they've been at their home, how likely they are to move. Like, did you have any idea any of this was on Facebook? I mean, this is crazy. When you go through and you create advertising, you can really find your ideal client here. And I'm telling you that hardly anybody is utilizing this ridiculously cool resource. So here's the bottom line. What I'm telling you is the biggest mistakes that I see in most agents is you're wasting a ton of time, money, and effort trying to advertise everything so you don't miss anything. And ultimately, you're missing everything. The typical real estate agent goes out there and they open the Homes magazine and they look to see what other agents are advertising like, and they simply copy that. And I'm here to tell you that those most of the time don't work. I was talking to a luxury home agent last night. I was having a glass of wine with her. And she advertises in the Luxury Home magazine. And I said, well, how effective is that? She said, I've had 2 calls in all the years that I've been advertising in it. But what she uses it for is to show her sellers what kind of marketing she's doing. So she's not generating leads from it. She's using it simply as a marketing campaign for her sellers. So is that what's happening for you? Are you doing all of this money advertising? You're not tracking it. And all of a sudden you're realizing you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars on advertising that's not generating much business. I see it all the time. So listen up. Here's the deal. I have available all of these trainings. I've done tons and tons of these. If you want and you're interested in following up on them, feel free to just log on to this website. The money is barely what you spend on coffee. If you want to buy it, great. If you don't, keep listening in. We do these every Tuesday from 12 to 1. They're a ton of fun. I give you tons of information. I mean, seriously, the information you got today, you could simply go on right now, create your Facebook page, set up a way to promote it at a simple $5 a day advertising, and I would guarantee that within 30 days you're likely to have at least a couple buyers or sellers that would be interested in doing business with you. This is the way that I market. If you're interested in Tuesday tune-ups, there's all kinds of great information you can get. You get advanced notification of the classes and all this good stuff. So if you're interested in it, head on over to TuesdayTuneUps.com. You can sign up to get the access to it immediately. You get access to all the Tuesday tune-ups that I've done. There's tons and tons of great information in there. You can watch them whenever you want. You get instant access. So you also get a 30-day money-back guarantee if that's of interest to you. Be sure to join us for our upcoming live event, September 17th and 18th. I cannot wait. Doing a live event with Tamara Doris, Mind Over Marketing, where we're going to take all the stuff you learned today, plus a ton more, and we're going to dig into this real deep for 2 days so that when you walk away, you're ready to go out there and crush it in the market. So if you're interested in connecting with me, You can check out any of these places to connect with me. I also have a free group called Real Estate Accountability and Success Strategies that you can look up on Facebook. We have about 420 members in that group that are sharing all kinds of great information. So thanks so much for joining me today. Quick 30 minutes out of your day. And I'm sure that this information is going to go way far in helping you succeed. So here's to your success.